As I said in my first video, the movies in my top 5 aren't all that scary. Halloween, I believe, is the exception to that rule. As a kid, this movie scared the living crap out of me. I'm going to once again waive my no spoilers rules. I'm sure most of you have already seen this movie. The movie kicks off from a POV standpoint. We're a stalker outside of a window. We see a couple run upstairs, have some of the fastest sex in history, the boyfriend leaves, and then we go upstairs, and we kill a young girl. Eventually, the camera pulls back, and it shows the killer is actually a young boy in a clown outfit, complete with a clown mask. He actually killed his sister, and he's greeted outside by his parents. Why are they just standing there? In the next scene, we get a little backstory about that young boy who killed his sister, who we now know is Michael Myers. He gets away promptly from the mental asylum. While this happens, we also get our introduction to Dr. Loomis, played by the late great Donald Pleasence. Dr. Loomis is the only one who seems to know exactly what our killer can do, and is pissed that he escaped.
He hasn't spoken a word in 15 years.
Are there any special instructions?
Just try to understand what we're dealing with here. Don't underestimate it.
Shortly after this, we also get introduced to Laurie Strode, played excellently by a young Jamie Lee Curtis. Laurie begins to see Michael Myers pop up and quickly disappear. This movie traumatized me with that shit. As a kid, I was terrified to look out the window. Plus, the fact that he just ninja vanishes back out into the open world when you look away is such a dick move. Michael Myers himself is a pretty simple villain. He doesn't talk like Freddy, just wears a jumpsuit and a pale Shatner mask. But it just works, especially with this asshole teleporting around. Moving back to the movie, eventually we're introduced to our red shirts, Annie, who we find out will be babysitting a few doors down from Laurie later that night, and this annoying piece of shit Linda. There are a few more scenes that take place during this, none of really that much importance. We see Michael Myers teleporting around quite a bit during this sequence. Soon after, we're whisked quickly to our respective babysitters babysitting. Annie loses her clothes because, why the fuck not? Laurie and the kid she's watching, Tommy, on the other hand, are watching the original version of The Thing, which Carpenter, John Carpenter that is, later remade and is of course our number 4 movie. Annie eventually decides that she wants to get railed and ditches Lindsay, the young girl she's watching with Laurie. Annie doesn't make her to her boyfriend's house though, as she's choked out in her car. Her face is pricelessly bad. What in the fuck is that? Is she dying or coming? Probably both. Tommy across the street sees Annie's corpse being carried into the house, which I mentioned because as a kid, this scared the piss out of me. That is just a chilling visual. Once this movie starts killing off red shirts, it seems like it can't help itself because our annoying whore pops back up as well during this sequence and does what she does best. Get drilled and slaughtered in 2 of the best deaths in this movie. Her boyfriend, after another very, very fast sequence of sex, like 45 seconds of mediocre flopping around, goes down to get a couple of beers. While he's down there, he runs into Michael, who impales him on the cupboard. He's hanging on, his feet are touching the ground. They're level. This death is iconic. Michael, then disguised as a ghost wearing that douchebag's glasses, goes upstairs and chokes out Slutus Maximus. This is a satisfying death because I hate this character, Linda. Unfortunately, though, there's way too many tits there to show it. Don't get me wrong, I love breasts. Love them. But I want to keep my videos nudity free. So instead, here's 15 seconds of a bulldog rolling on her back. I apologize for any inconvenience. Eventually, Lori decides to go check on her friends who've been ignoring her calls due to being dead. The kids are safe asleep, so she ventures across the road to the house that Annie was babysitting at. And then the movie kicks off the training wheels and goes into apeshit mode. Lori quickly finds all of her friends dead, and Michael begins trying to kill her. This scene here playing in the background is great. Jamie Lee Curtis looks terrified and shares her stress with those watching the movie. Lori makes her way back to the house she's babysitting at and has to get the kids to open the door, while Michael gives chase. Wait. Is that a doorbell? Why is she banging on the door and throwing potted plants instead of, ringing the doorbell? I never noticed that. God damn it. Now the scene is ruined for me. Good job, brain. Fuck you. Lori eventually manages to get back into the house, but of course, so does Michael. Lori makes her way to a closet, which Michael smashes his way into. Another classic scene, which ends with Michael taking a knife to the chest. Not quite narrow to the knee, but still pretty devastating. The kids escape out of the house while he's dead and manage to get the attention of Dr. Loomis. While this happens, we see Michael sit up, and the fight's back on. Loomis then unloads on Michael's ass, sending him flying down to the ground.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
But of course, we see that Michael's body is no longer where it landed. You can't kill the boogeyman. So that does it for our Nicko Show Halloween special. I'd like to thank everybody for checking out these videos and taking a trip down horror movie memory lane for me. In November, we'll be moving on to some other stuff, but of course, we'll always have those horror movies in the background. I definitely love horror movies a lot, so just because October's over doesn't mean the horror movie reviews will stop. With that said, we're not just going to do horror movies anymore since October is over. Whew, that was quite a bit of movies to do. 5 movies in 5 days. That was tough, but it was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had as much fun watching as I did making. So, in closing, have a happy Halloween, try not to get murdered by any psychopaths, and we'll be seeing you sometime next month. But of course, we see that Michael's body is no longer where it landed. You can't kill the boogeyman. Although I kind of wish they did, because, I don't know, Part 4 sucks, Part 5 sucks, Curse of Michael Myers sucks, Halloween Resurrection sucks, oh my god, Halloween Resurrection sucks. Busta Rhymes is in a Halloween movie. I can let LL Cool J go, but Busta Rhymes is in a Halloween movie. Rob Zombie's first one was okay. His second one was fucking garbage, though. Why does his wife have to be in everything? Why am I still talking?